So that's where for you, starting off the way that you did and building up, because then you had that, and then later on that then allowed you to have that to continue to grow, because now you had the, we'll call it the debt, the collateral, however we want to look at that, which then lets you keep parlaying into it. And I'm just kind of tracking the footsteps here. You then needed VAs. You said, hey, you know what? I just learned a really good process here. Other people are running into the same problem. I'm going to help them do that. But then along the way, also, you're like, you know what? There's some savvy tax strategies we should be following here, and it's only going to help us also attract good investors. And then you added that one to your portfolio. Is this about right? Is that how it all tracked?
Yes. So I had a business coach who he told me a while back. He said, I told him what my plan was. I said, hey, I'm going to get into self-storage, or I'm in self-storage, and I'm going to make millions of dollars simply by being in self-storage, investing in it, and wholesaling self-storage deals. And he said, and I said, I'm going to do it like in a year. And he's like, all right, that's great. But two things, Sean. He said, one, remove the time frame, remove the 1 year. He said, you're capping yourself. He said, you don't know, it's going to happen, right? But you don't know when it's going to happen. So I removed the time frame, which kind of helps a lot from I would say a mental standpoint. And then two is that it can be related to self-storage, but doesn't mean it's going to be wholesaling self-storage necessarily. If you only say, hey, I'm going to wholesale self-storage, well, you might miss a lot of other opportunities that are right in front of you. And so I think there's kind of a difference between, I have shiny object syndrome, and there's an opportunity in front of me that I need to capitalize on, right? And so for me, shiny object syndrome is listening to every single podcast out there and then trying to be in every type of real estate asset class because they all sound fantastic. And I'm jumping from multifamily to short-term rental to self-storage to long-term rentals. If I had just focused on one, I'd be successful in whatever one I had chosen, right? And that's a little bit different than seeing another opportunity that's in front of you that aligns with what you are already doing. It's not going out and starting completely over, but it aligns with what you're doing. And so my background was as a CPA. I'm still a CPA in the state of Michigan. And I left, I was in corporate accounting and finance, and I worked for a private equity backed company, and I did all these things. And then I went and I left that, became a full-time entrepreneur doing self-storage and doing real estate. And then through that, right, the overseas headhunting company kind of came out organically. But then also the cost segregation company really was organically built too, because it tied directly back into my background as a CPA. Where I was already familiar with tax and depreciation and cost segregation and how all of that worked, right? And investors and helping people take advantage of that. So I was able, as a real estate investor, you do cost segregation studies on your properties. Then you get those to pass the benefits down to your investors or take advantage of the benefits yourself. It's the reason that, generally speaking, the wealthiest real estate investors, they don't pay any taxes. It's because they have so much depreciation and they're offsetting everything with that depreciation. But I saw this as a clear opportunity to connect my background as a CPA with the real estate, and that was through the cost segregation firm. So that's it. It's those three businesses. I'm not looking to start a different company every single year, but it's the way it unfolded.
So there's nothing right now where you're like, that one could be cool to do next.
Oh, it pops up all the time. I mean, I guess property management is something that I also do. It's just less of a forward focused thing where I'm helping other people do it. It's just for the in-house, facilities and properties that I have. But there's a lot of opportunity, out there in the world, but I'm focused on building up what I have.